Hey everyone, it's Dawn from Rising Dawn Yoga Studio, and I'm here to talk to you today about detoxification in the body. What does that look like for a yin practice? Of course, we're focusing again on those principles of traditional Chinese medicine. So off the bat, I just want to apologize for my voice. I woke up not feeling my best today, but I wanted to make sure I came on here to give you this information. So when we talk about our detoxification system in our body, we're actually talking about our three big filters, and that's your liver, your kidney, and your spleen. So let's talk a little bit about what each one of these organs does and how it works to detoxify the body. And then we'll talk a little bit about those energy meridians, the liver, the kidney, and the spleen meridians, where they're found in the body, how we target them, of course, in a yin practice, again, is through a traditional yoga pose in a passive stretch. But we'll also talk about some points on these meridians so you can once again do a little acupressure massage for yourself and give yourself a treatment if you need it for any imbalances that you might be having in detoxifying your body. So let's talk about the liver. So the liver converts toxins into waste. That's what this beautiful organ does for us. It's an amazing organ. It actually can regenerate itself, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. So what kind of toxins are we talking about that it's turning to waste products and shedding from the body? So that means it could be anything. Toxins could be medications that you're currently on, and even though it might be a medication that your doctor is prescribing for you, your body is still viewing it as a toxin. So your liver is this big filter that is going to process that particular medication and remove it as a waste product from your body. Excess supplements. If you're taking a lot of vitamins or supplements and your liver is on overdrive from that, we want to learn how to optimize our liver health. This is something that the liver, again, is converting. It views it as a toxin. So if you have excess supplements in your body, vitamins, it's going to go ahead and process it as a waste product to discard it. Excuse me. Alcohol, of course, is a big one when we know that, right? We talk about the liver. We know alcohol, caffeine is another toxin that has to be removed from the body. And then the liver's other function is it metabolizes fats. So this is another big function. You want to make sure with your diet that you're eating those healthier fats. We want to stay away from those saturated fats. We want to make sure that we're eating those healthy fats like an avocado, your omega-3s. Those are the good healthy fats that we need to include into the diet. So in traditional Chinese medicine, we talked about this in the other weeks about our different organs and how they tie into a particular meridian, and that meridian is also tied to an emotion in Chinese medicine. So the emotion for the liver meridian is anger. So if you're dealing with something that is really stressful in your life and making you very angry, nothing wrong with anger, but it is an energy that moves through the body and needs to get processed. So if you went for an acupuncture treatment and you explained to the practitioner that you had a lot of anger in your life because of somebody or something that was happening, they would work with points on your liver meridian to help move that energy of anger through the body and process it. Excuse me. So the other big filter in your body is your kidney. So you have two of them, of course. Kidneys balance your electrolytes. That's your water, your salts, your minerals. This is something that is extremely important. Of course, if you are an athlete, you want to make sure that you have that balance all the time, right, of the balance of electrolytes going on. And your kidney is going to play a part in helping to regulate that in your system. Now, it also regulates blood pressure. A lot of people don't realize this about the kidney, but because it's balancing the sodium and water levels in your bloodstream, in your body, this is actually going to play a part in how your blood pressure is. So if you want to have optimal blood pressure, take care of your kidneys. It's an important organ for that. Now, another thing a lot of people don't realize about the kidney is it affects you if you have anemia, because the kidney actually produces a hormone, and that is working to produce new red blood cells. So if you're anemic, you're lacking those red blood cells, this is a problem, right? So we want to make sure our kidney health is optimal and our function is optimal because of the fact that it's responsible for that red blood cell production. The other thing a lot of people don't realize about the kidney is that it converts vitamin D into its active form for bone health. So that's going to help with arthritis, it's going to help with anti-aging, and extremely important function that people don't think about with the kidneys. So we want to make sure that we're optimizing that overall health of our kidneys for many reasons. Now, of course, I know a lot of people deal with kidney stones and things like that, and that's something we'll get into a little bit later when I talk about some supplements and natural products that you can use to help optimize your kidney function. Now, the emotion that's tied to the kidney meridian is fear. So if you are somebody who is dealing with anxiety, any style of anxiety, right? It could be social anxiety, general anxiety. If you have anxiety in your life, then you are operating in a place of fear. And when we go to an acupuncturist or acupressure massage for a treatment, and we talk about the fact that we have high levels of anxiety and a lot of fear-based things going on in our life, then we want to target points on the kidney meridian. That is what's going to be responsible for processing. Again, fear is an emotion. Yes, psychologically there is something we could talk about, but that's not my specialty. But the energy of fear and how it moves through the body and the havoc that it causes for you, the wreaking havoc, I can't speak today, that is something that you definitely want to address, is hit those kidney points, and that's going to help move that energy of fear through the body. So let's talk a little bit about the spleen. I'm going to take a sip of tea before my voice goes. Okay, so the spleen. This is your big organ for your lymphatic drainage system. And a lot of people maybe aren't familiar with your lymphatic system, but this is your drainage system that removes viruses and bacteria. This is so important. It also processes removes old red blood cells that have been used up already. So where we're talking about working with the kidney, right, in conjunction with that, the kidney, of course, is producing brand new red blood cells to go ahead and collect oxygen from the lungs, bring it to all the cells in your body where it's needed, and do that little exchange with removing the carbon dioxide waste. Once those old red blood cells are just filled up with waste product like carbon dioxide, they need to go somewhere, and that's where they're going, into your lymph system, and they're going to the spleen to make sure they're processed and removed from your body. So let's talk a little bit about the meridians and where are they. So where is our liver meridian? Our liver meridian, and I'm going to stand up so I can show you on my leg what we're talking about. Our liver meridian starts at the top of your big toe. So I'm hoping you can see this here. So it stops at the top of the big toe. And then from there, we're going to come towards the inside of the leg, and it's going to run through the inside of the leg all the way up towards the groin. And then from there, it's going to go into the lower abdomen and past the diaphragm, ending in the mid-torso area. Let's talk a little bit about the kidney meridian. The kidney meridian also starts in the foot, but this time it's going to start on the underside of the little toe. It's going to come up and wrap over across the front of the ankle, and then also come up through the inside of the leg. And this is coming up more towards the top side, if we had a top side to the inner leg here. And then coming into, again, it's coming into the torso, and this one is going to come all the way up, and it's going to end about your collarbone area. Let's talk about the spleen meridian. Spleen meridian is also going to start in your foot, and it's also going to start near the big toe. This time it's going to be starting on the outer corner of the big toe. So it's going to come to the inside of the foot, an inner edge of the foot, and then it's going to come inside through the leg all the way up to the torso, running up the outer edge of the torso and ending somewhere up by your armpit. So let's talk about some points where you can give yourself an acupressure massage, and we'll talk a little bit about how we do that. But we're going to talk about the spleen 6 point and the kidney 7 point. These are 2 points that are very close in proximity on the leg. So I'm going to stand up again to show you. So to find these points, the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is you're going to find that round bone on the inside of your ankle. And then from there, you're going to place your hand there. So put your index finger a little bit above that round bone. And then you're going to go across those 4 fingers to where your pinky is. Right on the side of your pinky, you're going to take your finger and then move it upward. Find your shin bone and then slide down into that little depression. So that little depression there, that one is your spleen 6 point. You would apply pressure and move in a circular motion. And you might notice if this one is a little tender on you, that means that's a point you want to be hitting. So this is of course going to help optimize the function of the spleen, but we're also talking about a point that can help with calming. It can help you with your sleep, help to regulate your sleep cycle. And it also speaks to insecurity. If you have something going on that's making you feel insecure. So now, from this point, we're actually just going to move about 2 inches down towards the back side of the leg. Not going completely around to the back, just about 2 inches down. And the same thing, you're going to find a little depression there between the muscle. And that's your kidney 7 point. You're applying pressure, you're moving in a circular motion. And this is a wonderful point, of course, to help optimize kidney function. But we're also talking about edema. Do you have any excess fluid that you're carrying in the body? Sweating, excessive sweating, great point to hit for that. This is going to help balance out your fluids and can also help with lowering blood pressure. And then last but not least, let's talk a little bit about our liver 3 point. Our liver 3 point is found on the foot. So what you want to do is come to the top of your foot between your big toe and the second toe. And you can kind of grab onto it from the underside too. And again, just apply pressure there and move in that circular motion. And you want to do that for about 1 to 2 minutes. So your liver 3 point, of course, is going to work with improving your liver function, but it's also going to speak to, again, that emotion of anger. If you have a lot of anger you're holding on to, you need to release, that's the point you want to hit. So go ahead and give yourself that little massage, 1 to 2 minutes, and that's going to help release that energy of anger in the body. So let's talk a little bit about some of the products here that I wanted to share with you. These are all products that help optimize health with the kidney, the liver, and the spleen. I'm going to take a sip of my tea again. My voice is going. So let's talk about milk thistle. Milk thistle is an amazing supplement. Looks something like this. This just happens to be the particular one that I have on hand right now. I can tell you I've been through many different brands, so I don't have a favorite right now at the moment, but again, you can pick this up anywhere, CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, any of those stores, but Amazon, of course, is always great. I keep talking about them. So milk thistle is a really great supplement because it cleanses the liver and it cleanses the gallbladder. So of course the liver and the gallbladder work in conjunction with each other, right, to work with your bile production and storing the bile in the body. So the other big thing though about milk thistle that is so important, and I can tell you firsthand that I've experienced this, is that it promotes cell repair. The liver is an amazing organ that can regenerate itself, but sometimes it does need a little assistance, especially if it's been going through something pretty traumatic. So many years ago, I went through a very scary medical situation where I had developed a stricture in my bile duct, and it was closing off the bile duct. I had to go in and have surgeries done. I went through 5 surgeries actually to go in and stretch the bile duct and open it again. In the meantime, it was causing pancreatitis. I had been through lots and lots of issues, let's just say. So a wonderful doctor in New York City at the New York Presbyterian Weill Cornell Center, Dr. Cahala. Dr. Cahala, if you're out there, I just adore you, and I can't thank you enough for saving my life, literally. But one of the things that he had recommended that they use at the Weill Cornell Center for optimizing healthy cell regeneration of the liver, the bile duct, and so forth was milk thistle. He said there was study after study that showed out of all supplements, this one truly has a lot of science behind it that it works. So if you have any issues going on with your liver, fatty liver, God forbid cirrhosis or something like that, you want to have milk thistle in your day-to-day, because it is just it's a wonderful supplement, and it's so helpful to regenerating those new healthy cells as the old ones die off. So let's talk about some other antioxidants that really work to help the liver, but also help with the kidney and the spleen. So I love glutathione. And this particular glutathione, it says there, comes with some milk thistle in it, and it also has alpha lipoic acid. So these are all very strong antioxidants for your body. They support liver detoxification. So the liver's taking in all those toxins, and it needs to filter and shed them, right? So when we talk about supporting liver detoxification, like that whole process, so cell regeneration, that's your milk thistle. We want to talk about supporting detoxification in the liver, we're talking about glutathione and alpha lipoic acid. So you can take that in a pill form. I think there's liquid forms of it too. And more recently, I started doing injectable glutathione. So I have a wonderful nurse practitioner who she's going to be on with me probably in about 2 weeks when we talk about women's health and we talk about hormones and men's health too. I'm sorry, but when we talk about regulating hormones in the body, she's going to come on, and so I can interview her, and I want you guys to know all the wonderful things that she's doing for overall wellness. And glutathione injections are just amazing, but if you can't go somewhere for an injection, then definitely take a supplement. So when we talk about detoxing the liver with the help of glutathione, we're talking about toxins like heavy metals, processed foods. If you eat a lot of processed foods, you want to have glutathione as a supplement. Pesticides, I'm sorry, but unfortunately, our food system, there's a lot of pesticides that happen, and we're ingesting them, and we want to make sure that our body is removing those toxins from our system. So glutathione is definitely something you want to have on a day-to-day basis. The other wonderful thing about glutathione is that it does boost your immune system, and it can also help with reducing belly fat. So if you have any of that going on, then you definitely want to grab some glutathione and take that. Like I said, I love this one because it already comes with milk thistle in it, and it also comes with the alpha lipoic acid, another strong antioxidant. And speaking of getting injections, one of the things, vitamin B12. B12 is amazing for liver and spleen function, but it is something that is hard for the body to absorb from a supplement. If you are going to take a B12 supplement, then I suggest you get one of the sublingual ones that goes underneath the tongue and dissolves, or even the liquid that goes under the tongue and dissolves. But again, more recently, I've been doing B12 shots with the wonderful nurse practitioner, Lauren, who will be on here within the next few weeks. And I can't tell you enough. I mean, it's just overall boosts your energy. I feel amazing since I've been taking those shots. And I've been getting the B12 and the glutathione. I get them together. So talk about really optimizing my detoxification health. So let's also talk about something that we mentioned once before when we did digestion, but this is something that is so helpful for the liver and for the kidney and the spleen, and that is dandelion and chicory root. So this is a coffee alternative. It's an Ayurvedic blend that I absolutely love. You can find it on Amazon. And this is something that, let's break it down. Dandelion is just wonderful for liver detoxification and spleen. It actually works in conjunction with both organs. I love dandelion. If you don't want to get something like this, that's a blend to drink. Maybe, you know, coffee's not your thing at all. You don't even want a coffee alternative, so maybe you like tea. There's plenty of good dandelion teas out there. I would look for an organic one, something like Traditional Medicinals. They have a wonderful dandelion root tea that is so delicious. But chicory root, we talked about chicory root in the digestion talk. Chicory root is also great for promoting kidney function. A lot of people don't realize, but what chicory root does in the body is it helps reduce uric acid levels. And if you're somebody who deals with gout, then you definitely want to find chicory root and bring it into your diet, because it's going to help reduce those uric acid levels in your blood. And of course, uric acid issues, not only just we refer to gout, of course, when we think about high uric acid, but it really does cause a lot of problems for the kidneys. And you can start to deteriorate your kidney function if your uric acid levels are too high. So chicory root, absolutely wonderful for reducing those levels. Almost last, let's talk about licorice. I don't know if you guys like licorice, but I am obsessed with it. It's one of my favorite things. And I'm not talking about Twizzlers, some overprocessed, no good, sorry Twizzler, not a fan. But there are some wonderful types of licorice out there that are very natural. And if you like to eat licorice, I would strongly suggest, this is from Denmark. It's a Danish style of licorice, but I really love this one. And so it's just some little tiny pieces, and you just pop one in your mouth and chew on that. And if you love licorice, you will love this flavor. If you like salted licorice, this is really good. But licorice root is really great for alleviating stress on the spleen. So I can't say enough about eating licorice, how important it is. Again, your spleen, you were talking about your lymphatic system. It's the largest organ there, and that is addressing your immune system. It is responsible for getting rid of viruses and bacteria that invades the body. So you want to keep your spleen healthy. So then definitely, if you like licorice, go ahead and you can buy one of these and pop those in your mouth every day. But if you like tea, instead, if you you're not a fan of eating licorice, but you could tolerate it in a tea form with some other blends, then I would say the same company, but they make a tea, and it is, this is a licorice and lemon. So lemon is also fantastic for the body, for both liver and for kidney. If you deal with kidney stones, then you want to, just lemon water is so wonderful. Get an organic lemon, slice it up, throw it in a pitcher with some cold water, and just let it soak for a couple hours, and drink a glass of that every day, and that will help keep those kidney stones away. So lemon, really great for that. But this particular tea, again, from this brand, is both licorice root and lemon. It has lemon peel, and I think it also has lemon balm, marigold, just some other great herbs and plants that are really fantastic for detoxifying the liver and, again, this kidney. But really, licorice root is all about alleviating the stress on the spleen. So that's actually what I'm drinking here right now, because keeping my immune system up with whatever this is that I woke up with. So last, let's talk a little bit about apple cider vinegar. I know you guys have probably heard a lot about apple cider vinegar for years, and it really is, it's wonderful for the body. And there's so many different ways you can take it. So if you're not one for just popping a spoonful of it in your mouth, because that's very harsh, you know, do you like vinegar and oil on a salad? You could use your apple cider vinegar and pour that on your salad with your olive oil, and it works just as good that way, as long as you're getting it into your system. I like to take a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar and I mix it with a little warm water in a cup and a teaspoon of raw organic honey. Use your local honey, because it's a really good inoculation for allergies, local pollens. But yeah, I mix it up and I just drink it first thing in the morning. So let's talk about apple cider vinegar. What is this doing for you in your body? This is flushing toxins from your liver. It also helps to lower cholesterol levels. It helps lower your blood sugar levels, promotes weight loss. But big thing here, gallstones. If you have gallbladder issues, you want to have apple cider vinegar in your diet every single day. So I had a family member who was going through gallbladder issues and had sludgy bile and gallstones. And they were all ready, you know, right away, like, let's remove the gallbladder. And contrary to what everybody thinks, the gallbladder is actually a very important organ to have. It shouldn't just be disposed of. Same thing with the spleen. A lot of people talk about how, oh, the spleen can, you know, you can live without it, but it's a huge part of, again, your immune system and your lymphatic system. So anyway, my family member was not going to go through gallbladder surgery. She didn't want to. I recommended she start with apple cider vinegar, and I said, if you can tolerate a tablespoon a day, I would take it, you know, whatever it is, like, you know, you're going to eat something, whatever your meal is going to be, take it right before you eat your meal. I'm sorry, not a tablespoon, a teaspoon. Take a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar right before you eat your meal. It helps thin out the bile and reduce the sludge, which of course creates gallstones. It also will help lower your blood sugar spike from the meal that you're eating. And I'm happy to say that after just a couple months of being really diligent and taking this before every meal, she stopped having the pain in her side. She went back to the doctor. They scanned her. I think it was, I want to say either 6 or 8 months later, because they just couldn't believe that that's what was working for her. That's all she was incorporating new into her diet, and it really helped. And you know, I'm not sure if she's still continuing it on a daily basis like that anymore. And I'm sure it's not every meal, but she definitely was able to get away with not having gallbladder surgery. So huge. I was very happy to hear that. Huge fan of not doing the surgery. So anyway, let's talk just a little bit again to recap. So we were talking about detoxifying the body. You're talking about your liver, your kidney, and your spleen, your 3 big filters. You want to take care of them. So we learned, of course, the meridians, where they are in the body. You have some pressure points now that you can give yourself those pressure point massage. Your spleen 6 and your spleen 7, of course, located by the ankle, and then the liver 3 on top of the foot between the big toe and the second toe. And also with those points that you're going to be using, you want to incorporate again milk thistle. Start looking at glutathione. And if you can find one like this with that milk thistle in it, and also the alpha lipoic acid, you want to definitely get some dandelion and chicory into your diet. And licorice, again, if you want to enjoy chewing on the licorice, or if you want to just have a licorice and lemon tea, that's delicious. And then last but not least, again, get that apple cider vinegar going in your daily routine. And with that, I made it through without my voice cutting out, so I'm super excited. And thank you guys so much for being here. So coming up this week in our yin classes, we will be talking about respiratory health. And what does that look like in a yin practice, and how in traditional Chinese medicine do we optimize our respiratory health? And then we'll be doing a live at the end of next week to kind of recap and talk a little bit about things, again, that can help you in your overall respiratory health. So that'll be next week. The other thing that I just wanted to mention once again is that on Saturday morning at 9 a.m., you register through my website, risingdawnyogastudio.com. We're going to be doing an entire gentle yoga flow with including somatics, restorative poses, yin poses. So it's going to be a little mishmash of everything, but with the goal to ease symptoms of menopause and perimenopause in women. So if you're dealing with any kind of hormonal irregular hormonal patterns in your body and it's causing problems for you, come join us Saturday morning. It's an online class. You'll get a Zoom link once you once you register. I'll be sending out the Zoom link, I think the night before. And you do not have to have your camera on. If your comfort level is to just, have it turned off, that's totally fine with me. I'm the only one that needs to be on camera so you can see what it is we're doing. And again, it's going to be a very gentle class with a combination of some somatic movements, which are going to help reduce cortisol and reduce belly fat, that meno belly that a lot of people deal with. If you have brain fog going on, hot flashes, we're going to talk a lot about hot flashes and what we can do to ease that in the body and cool yourself down. So please come join me on Saturday morning for that. I'll be happy to see you all there. And in the meantime, I hope that you learned a lot about detoxifying your system, and go ahead and get some of these things and start feeling better. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Much love. Bye.